Hey guys, so this is a quick a video just to because I know some of you sort of struggle with the lower time frame confirmation. However, as I always say, you sort of can trade it however you feel you can, and I know that sort of sounds like as though you can do whatever you want, and the thing is you can. You don't have to trade it exactly like how we do, but if you're really struggling scaling down for different time frames, I'm going to show you something which is something that you can do on any time frame that you're comfortable with. Right, generally the 4 hour and the 1 hour are the ones that people feel comfortable doing. Anything less is where the confusion sort of starts. The reason being why these are easier is because it's a little bit more clearer as to where the OBs actually are. So let's have a look what's going on. So on the 4 hour, right, if we can see where is it gone? There we go. So we can see a minor breaker structure here, right? And we can also see another breaker structure here. Now on the higher time frame, the overall breaker structure is either come from here. Oh wait, hold on a sec. Let me just go to here for a moment. Yeah, so it's either here or it's come to this OB here. Now out of the two, I wouldn't pick any one of them. As in, I wouldn't choose one over the other. The reason being, that has inefficiency, that has inefficiency. They're both perfectly fine. If we go to the hourly and try and refine it, we can refine our OB to, we've got this one, and there's nothing special here, so I'm going to leave the 4 hour as it was. Now in terms of confirmation, you can still do it on the higher time frame if you wanted to. So if we let price play out, what we can see is once price actually enters the OB, we can go through the hourly and see if there's any hourly breaker structure. And the thing is, there isn't. Okay, we got a bullish move, but there's no breaker structure. That's the most recent structure to break, and it didn't break that, so price carried on going. And what we can see here is now price is in the second point of interest, and again we're still on the hourly. We just need to wait for a breaker structure, right? So what we can see, let me go to here. So we can see now we've created, we failed to break the low, right? We've broken structure, we've broken this structure. So there is an OB here, but it's not overly clear to even take. I would say it's a liquidity wick, but this wick sort of covers it, so I wouldn't even look at that. But now that we broke it, what can we see here is we can see a wick trick. I'm not even going to go any lower. I didn't see if it does react to the wick trick or not, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So now we've got a breaker structure. We can potentially have a long position from here. Now if you go back to the 4 hour, now our target would be the high that's being created, so it's that one. Okay, and our stop loss is going to be below that OB. So it's going to be about here. Okay, it's about 7 pips, which is fine. Okay, let's see what happens. So we'll let price play out. It triggers. Let me show you. It triggers, and what does it do? Straight to TP. Now the interesting part is you'll probably start getting worried that price has already made this impulsive move without coming back. It's still a valid OB to come back. With broken structure, this impulse has broken this structure, has broken that structure. Okay, there's 2 structures that is broken. Exactly the same concept that it is on the lower time frame, however it's on the higher time frame, which also means that you have a higher chance of winning the trade, because the higher you go, the more reliable it is. So if you're struggling to scale down, you don't have to, because look, this is a 26R trade, and that is solid for this trade. Okay, yes, it took a while to trigger. It doesn't matter how long it takes, because you're still getting a 26R trade without even refining it, and that is still the refinement. You can even enter it on the open of the wick. The only reason why I wouldn't, I didn't check beforehand, by the way, before recording this video, if it comes to the 50%. The only reason I didn't, because this immediate wick sort of touches the base of it, so I wouldn't expect it to have to go back and react off it. It'll probably go there. There's probably something, I'm not even going into a lower time frame, but there's probably something already there. So that was how you can use a higher time frame So if I go from the start, a quick summary. So we can see a breaker structure, right? Okay, we've got two OBs, 2 point of interest. I didn't have to go any lower. Okay, I didn't refine the OB either. I only went to the hourly to refine that one. Look, you just wait for an hourly breaker structure where there wasn't one until we came to here. And then we found our OB, placed the trade, and off we go. No lower, and it's still a 26R trade, which is crazy. Same concept when you move your stop loss to break even, you move it at a breaker structure. The most recent structure was here. We got that break, SL to entry, and then we hold. You can either trail it on the hourly lows. So once we broke that structure here, then here, and so on. But obviously we hit our TP. So that's how you can trade the exact same concept, exact same principles, exact same rules, but just on a different time frame. You don't have to refine it. It's exactly like I do. Like I go to 15 seconds purely because I want to. Okay, I don't have to, but I just do. Personally, for me, I find that fun. I don't think it's really. I don't think you have to do it. You don't even need to have the premium to have. You don't need the premium trading view to have the seconds, because you don't need it. You can do the exact same thing on any time frame. But I know the 4 hour and the 1 hour are what most of you are comfortable with, and this is just showing that you don't have to go any lower, because this happens time and time again on several pairs. But this was I just saw this and I thought, okay, it would be quite a nice one to show you guys that you don't have to go to extreme measures just to refine a trade. You can simply go off this a higher time frame. And some of you, if you're comfortable with 15 minutes, use 15 minutes. If you're comfortable with 10 minutes, use 10 minutes. It's up to you. But I picked these two time frames because they're probably the most easiest and most probably the most easiest to follow. But yeah, so give it a go. If you're struggling with the lower time frames, then just use the high time frames. There's nothing wrong with it. You still get a great trade, great move. Just you don't have to compare to anyone else. Remember, you have to think about yourself. And when you're trading, you have to be sort of you have to be fairly selfish about it. So yeah, so take practice using the higher time frames. Even when you're, to be fair, when you're back testing, depending how far back, you can't even go any lower than the 15 minute even sometimes, or even lower than 5 minutes sometimes. So it's quite probably good practice to just get used to the higher time frames before you master anything lower, because once you can handle these time frames, you can handle any other time frame. Exactly the same principle, exactly the same concept, and understanding which OBs are valid and which ones aren't, because both these were valid. We just need to wait for the right confirmation. Okay, I probably would have found a trade sitting in the 5 minute or 1 minute somewhere here and caught this first move. Okay, but then I always had to sit through this drawdown. I probably would have hit my trading stop before this impulsive move. I don't know if you saw my GBP JPY video that I posted earlier today. The first entry hits my trading stop, and then the impulsive move came, which is what I wanted. This is exactly the same principle. So I would have probably got in way too early before the expansion actually happened. So it has its pros and cons, but to be fair, I don't really see the cons apart from the fact your stop loss is probably 2 or 3 pips bigger. But anything below 10 is fine. For me, I obviously look for 5 pips, which is the only reason why I go to a lower time frame. But yeah, this is just showing you that you don't have to go to a lower time frame to by lower time frames I mean you don't have to go to sub 15 minutes to refine and get a great trade. You can do it on any time frame that you prefer and you're comfortable with.